Welcome back to Red and Blue. I'm Scott McFarland. Political watchers expected the Ohio Senate race to favor Republicans this cycle, but it's far closer than most expected, with Democratic Congressman Tim Ryan competing in a tight race with Trump-backed Republican J.D. Vance. Let's go now to the Ohio Senate race. CBS News chief election and campaign correspondent Robert Costa is with us now from Youngstown, near the Pennsylvania border. So, Bob, you've been following the Ohio Senate race, which I think deserves the attention it's getting. This candidate the Democrats have put forward, Tim Ryan, the House member, the veteran House member, who the party believes is overachieving and really done stalwart work. The question is there any sense it's realistic the Democrats can take this state as the home stretch begins?
Scott, it's great to be with you from Youngstown, Ohio. Ohio, as you noted, is a Republican state, at least in recent cycles, won twice by then President Trump in 2016 and 2020, when he was candidate Trump in 16, then incumbent president in 2020. But Tim Ryan, the congressman from this area, the northeastern area of Ohio, the industrial northeastern part of the state, believes he does have a shot, and the polls back him up. We sat down with him in Cleveland earlier today, just hours after the Guardians and the Yankees played down the road, and he believes that he can appeal to working people in Ohio and he can attract the Trump voter. So he's trying to build his own coalition, knowing it's a tough year for Democrats and that there are both economic and political headwinds.
That does feel like a pretty pivotal area in a rather large state, the Youngstown area, northeast Ohio. It's where his congressional district is, but it's also that subdivision of the state that has gone hard red from a traditional blue-collar union area over the last decade. Are you sensing that's where he's focusing his time, his energy, in that section of Ohio?
It's not just his time and energy he's focusing on here, it's his message. You hear from Congressman Ryan a real focus on trade. He's critical of trade deals that he believes have brought manufacturing jobs out of northeastern Ohio. So this is someone who recognizes there was an Obama voter in Ohio that maybe in some respects migrated to being a Trump voter in recent cycles. He wants to bring them back into the Democratic fold. For Ryan, that's often a union voter in an industrial part of the state, a place like Youngstown that has really suffered, felt the economic pain. And he's talking about issues like inflation, knowing that the Democrats are in power and some voters may put the responsibility on them for the economic pain they're feeling. But he's also casting the Republican J.D. Vance, his opponent, as an extremist, someone who's very much a supplicant to Trump in Ryan's argument.
Let's flip the coin. What are you hearing from the Vance campaign? What are they messaging and where are they targeting their efforts?
They know that J.D. Vance had to build some support among Trump voters. This is someone in the primary race for the Senate Republican nomination, was not seen as a sure thing for the Trump vote. Trump ultimately came in and gave Vance his endorsement. That's been powerful for Vance. He's brought in a lot of Trump allies. Later this week, Senator Tom Cotton of Arkansas, Senator Tim Cotton of South Carolina, they will come into Ohio to campaign with Vance. That underscores how much the Trump wing of the party sees this as a critical race. And you see millions coming in, as Republican strategists and Democratic strategists tell me. Money matters in Ohio. You have many media markets, Cincinnati, Columbus, Cleveland, among others. And Vance has a lot of money behind him. Billionaire Peter Thiel thrown a lot of money into this race through his aligned group. So has Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell with his aligned groups.
It's always been one of the quirks of Ohio. I remember when I covered one of the U.S. Senate races of the past, one of the campaign staffers told me there are a dozen media markets we have to cover if you count the little ones outside the state perimeter that reach parts of Ohio, which makes it complicated to run a statewide race in Ohio. I'm wondering how much of this outside money that's come into the J.D. Vance campaign is coming in because they sensed a disadvantage. They sensed either a competitive Tim Ryan or a money differential they had to help bridge.
There's a lot of concern among Republicans, both in Ohio and in Pennsylvania, that the Democratic candidates in Pennsylvania, John Fetterman, and Ohio, Tim Ryan, could pull off upsets if they're able to win over some independent voters at the end by galvanizing core Democratic voters and some independents on an issue like abortion rights and being able to counter the Republican message on the economy. These are two razor-thin races at this point in the Pennsylvania Senate race and here in Ohio, races that will really tell us about where the industrial Midwest of this country is moving politically in the coming year.
Robert Costa on the road in Youngstown. Thank you very much.